So
There you go.
there we are. Good morning, Waleed.
Good morning, Jackie. Thank you for calling me today. Glad
Yes.
to be here.
I'm so glad it worked out that it was human being times on both ends. So it wasn't like,
Yes.
So,
Yes. Luckily, our time zones and times that coincided. So it's about 7 in the morning where you are, 5:30 p.m. in Pakistan where I am. So it's perfect.
that's so perfect. So we were talking off camera before that we had reached out because Bell Let's Talk Day is January 26th. And on Bell Let's Talk Day, if there's anything we try and do is make sure we're reaching as many people as possible, but also that we're learning as much as possible as we can about how to help each other. And so when there was word of the day and who all to invite and who all to ask these questions to, it took like half a little second before instantly you came to my mind. And I'm like, I need to talk to Waleed.
It's an honor. It's truly an honor. And we're so blessed to have people such as yourselves that are progressive and inclusive. So truly an honor for me. Thank you.
Yes. And I know, in Sound and Grey Bruce, our community, which is so amazing, is just getting so much bigger and so much brighter and full of so many faces and so many different stories. And I just am so thankful for that. In there, I always want to make sure that agencies like CMHA Grey Bruce are doing everything we can to support all those faces and people within that space.
Yeah, and then that's true, and that's something I've talked about for the past few years that I've been up in Grey Bruce myself. I moved up about 3.5-4 years ago, and it has changed even within that time. Remarkably, I remember when I was up initially, the one halal place in town, was actually there was two. There was Curry Palace in Owen Sound, and then Sabitri's, and now all of a sudden we had Popeyes open up that serves halal food, and then we had Mr. Khan's, and then we had Red Swan now that's offering halal options, and then we had a food truck for a while in the summer. So there's and then Osmos as well, actually. Osmos and their shawarma. So if you think about it, when I came up 3-4 years ago, only 2 places that I can name. And now there's about 5, and I know there's more in the pipeline. So you can tell just by that's a metric of how rapid the growth in diversity, and not just people from Muslim and South Asian backgrounds. I interact a lot with people from Asian backgrounds and multiple different ethnicities. I think it's the right time for us. I think these are perfect opportunities for us to just go out there and show how inclusive and how welcoming we are.
Absolutely. And my belly is very happy for all of those new businesses too.
I always say food is the way to your heart, right? So nothing more that you can relate to. Right? So
for sure. And I know we were talking off camera too. We were saying how these last 2.5 years have been hard on everybody. Like, I can't think of many people who have been like, whoa, this has been great. It's that hasn't been the case. And so we think of all the different challenges that people are facing in the pandemic. And again, every single person is going to face a different challenge in that time. But we always want to make sure we're being very mindful of the folks in our community that maybe don't know about all the resources that are available yet.
And that's part of the problem, right, Jackie? Because I've always taken in my other community engagements as well, I've always taken that minority perspective and that diversity perspective. And truth be told, I still don't think that people that are coming up into our area from diverse backgrounds that are newcomers and immigrants and migrants and whatnot, they still don't have access to the same resources that the average person living in Grey Bruce might have. And if anything, the pandemic's thrown a bigger curveball, right? We're not out there in the community as much anymore. Everything's remote. You have to understand there's massive language barriers, so not everyone can pop onto Facebook or Twitter and whatnot and avail information there. So there's a lot of challenges for that young Syrian mother that's got 3 kids, or I know an immigrant from Bangladesh, let's say. I know of a few that are trying to navigate resources within the community, given the language barriers, given the cultural barriers, and given the pandemic being the biggest barrier right now. So it's important that we do, that we're part of such initiatives, such as the one that we're talking about today. And I think this is accomplishing important work.
Awesome. Because that's the thing, like we want to make sure that we have access in the way that whoever it is and can connect with it. And I know like May did such great work taking all the resources on 211 and making sure it was available in as many languages as possible. I know Bounce Back, CMHA Ontario's kind of CBT from home program has been adding more and more languages. And even again, the biggest, I think, sign that we are growing and expanding in how we offer services was Kids Health Phone. October last year added Arabic, and it was the first time in 30 years that they had added a new language into their service.
And it's a sign of the times, Jackie. I'm so glad that that's happened. And yes, I was pretty impressed when I heard that as well. But I think, and I know I've sometimes gotten called out on this, but I always say we need to do more. And we starting with me, right? There's still barriers. We assume that if we add Arabic to 211 or on those online websites that everyone can read. Not everyone can read.
No.
Right. So there's, I think at the end of the day, what's required, and it's challenging because the pandemic being a curveball, is that neighbor to neighbor, person to person, community to community interaction, right? That's what we need at a grassroots level. I think, and to be honest, I'm fortunate enough to have been in every corner of the world at 29 years of age, and trust me when I say this, that the level of community and the passion for welcoming people that exists in Grey Bruce, honestly, I don't think exists anywhere. Now I might be biased, but I don't think exists anywhere else. So if anyone can do it, I think it's us. But I think that's what's required, is that grassroots, people to people, person to person, neighbor to neighbor contact. I get it. The resources are amazing and they do stellar work, but there's still some barriers that we have to be cognizant of.
And that's why, again, the Bell Let's Talk campaign was always such a great initiative, because that's what it always promoted, was just talk to each other, like just ask each other, just say, hey, my name's Jackie. I don't think we've met yet. What can I tell you about me, and what can I learn about you? And that's where it all starts.
Yeah, and the other thing, I mean, speaking from a minority perspective, remember, a lot of those conversations are very difficult for someone that's brand new. So the onus is on us. And again, I say us, even for me, because I've been in Canada for a very long time now. I consider myself part of the community, entrenched in the community. I often am the one that's starting those conversations because it's very hard. You have to remember, if someone that's leaving their home, their culture, their comfort zone, often in due to war or due to tragic circumstances, for them to come to a brand new community and then start a conversation with someone random, it is very hard. I still have a hard time doing that, and I've known to be, people call me talkative. So I think what we need to do is be cognizant of that, and you're absolutely right. Reach out to that person at the grocery store. Just talk, connect, and often what you'll find is someone on the other end that's yearning for that contact and that friendship and that sense of community.
Exactly. And I appreciate very much too how you said that, Grey Bruce, like I think that's always something we've done well. Like we're full of people who just want to help, who just want to make lives better for those around them. And I've always appreciated that. I've always said how I take my responsibility as a citizen very, very, very highly. So I always think, I'm one person in this big Grey Bruce place. What can I do to always make it better?
Let's put it this way. Forget the rest of the world. Just in North America, I've had the privilege and the honor to be, to go to drive to 42 of the 50 states in the US, every single Canadian province, including the territories. And there is no place like Grey Bruce. What's unfortunate, though, and we talk about this from an economic development perspective at the county level and at the provincial level, is that we suffer from a lot of misconceptions, right? And those misconceptions have something, are something that we have to tackle. We have tackled pretty well, and in the future we'll have to continue dismantling them in order to really promote growth up here, because the average person that's coming up to our area, including me, coming from a graduate program within Canada, moving up with my young family, I had a lot of people tell me, no, how are you gonna have access to your community? Are you gonna be accepted? Are you gonna find a place with me? And I look back at all that and I laugh, right? And then that's the truth for very many people that are coming up, often not from privileged backgrounds. So it's even harder for them, right? So what I'm trying to say, again, in a nutshell, is there's no other place like Grey Bruce, and I stand by that, and I will always stand by that. And I think we're phenomenal in terms of what we've done up here. But I think if we're honest and if we're open to our, to ourselves, we have a long road ahead of us still.
Yeah. So, and that's all we can do is one step at a time, one new question we ask at a time, one new thing we learn at a time gets us further and further ahead.
Let's put it this way, one talk at a time.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
There you go. Yeah. So
well, that's awesome. Well, that couldn't have been a better wrap up, Mr. Waleed, for today, because it was all about Bell Let's Talk Day, but it was what made me think of you and made me reach out to you so that I got to talk to you. So I'm the winner in this whole morning. So thank you so much.
You know what? I think our community is the winner, Jackie, and it's well served by people such as yourself, CMHA, and Bell Let's Talk by extension. Because we're doing a very important work, and I'm super honored to be part of this. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay.